I love it.
All right, so we got that going. Let me share my screen. Okay. Yeah, that's not what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get to this. Boom. Okay, so what we are talking to today, gentlemen, is closing skills. So everything I talk about mostly deals with closing skills, but we're talking about the setter closer model. So what is this is what we're going to talk about. What is the setter closer process? Some pros and cons of it, the different duties of the setter and the closer, and I'll give you some actionable things that you can do, and then we'll go from questions at that point. What is the setter closer process? So the setter closer process, what basically you do in your regular closing calls is you do the whole setter closer process yourself every time you do a closing call. So this is how it would be if you actually had that setter closer process in your sales system. The prospect will book a call, the setter takes that appointment and engages the prospect, educates them, and qualifies them. That's the EEQ. So they engage them just like you do when you start doing a rapport. You educate them, let them know about the system, the products, or whatever it is, and you also qualify them to make sure that they have the necessary mindset and money to be able to continue in your process. That's very important because if you don't qualify a person beforehand, you waste a lot of time with a lot of folks. And the majority of the time, especially when you do the doctor close that HTC teaches us, is that you don't find out about the money until the end, which means you could be on the call with that person for 35, 45 minutes before you really find out if the person is really financially capable of accomplishing and actually doing the program. Okay, so that's really for me where time is money, and I do calls all through the day. Um, I'd rather qualify that person as soon as possible myself, to where if the person is really not mentally there and financially there, there's no point in the process. I mean, there's no point in continuing. So that's just me. So when you have this setter closer process, it allows you to get, when the closer gets on the phone, that closer has a higher chance of closing because the person's already qualified. So once again, the setter takes the appointment. The setter also makes the appointment with the closer for qualified leads. So a qualified, once again, that's a very important term, a qualified lead. So they go from a prospect to a lead after they're qualified. Most times we're talking to people that are not really leads. They're just people who are looking. They're just people who are trying to get some information. Those people kill your time. That's about usually 50% of the people you talk to are in that not unclosable, but unclosable side. The other 50%, you're going to have some that are ready to go right then. There's some of them that you need to close in order for them to take the deal. Okay, so then the closer takes the appointment with the leads and closes the deal. So there's different setups for this. I've been in businesses where the closers were actually the managers kind of walking around the call center. And then when somebody had a close, they got a qualified lead, they'd raise their hand, and then the closer would come over and get on the call and finish the deal. Sometimes it happens the same day. Sometimes it happens another day where you set an appointment and then you send that person information to further build their trust and desire to actually work with whatever product you're giving to them. So there's a lot of different ways you can do it, just as long as you figure out how to do it. But the two pieces is the setter and the closer part. So those are two separate functions. So what are some of the pros and cons of the set close method? For the pros, for me, it gives the closer super authority, because now that closer can come on with boom, hey, I am the man, you're coming into my program, I don't know whether you're going to be good or not, but you got to come through me. And because the setter has built that closer up to a point to where that he has good status, he or she has great status for the person on the phone. Also, it gives the the setter the ability to be naive and still be competent. So what that means is that you don't have to answer all the questions because it's not your job. Your job is to give some information, talk to the person, gather information, and make sure they're qualified. So if they start talking to you about, well, how much does this cost? And this and this, well, that's really not my job right now. My job really is to make sure that this is something that will fit for you first. And then, my boss, Tom, when Tom gets on the phone, he takes care of all those things. So there's different things that you might qualify for. That's not my job. So you're being naive, but still being competent. You can still talk to them. Yeah, here's how the program works. Here's different things that's going to happen. Da 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 da. And is that something that you think you'd be competent or something that you would like? Why do you think you'd be a good fit to work with us? Or different shit like this. What you're doing is, once again, you have authority, and it is separate skills that you have to have. So a person who's really, let's say you have a person that's really, really, say emerald. A really, really hard emerald person will have a harder time building that rapport, which you need in the setter part. But that emerald might be awesome coming into the closer part and going, hey, this is John. I just want to make sure, we don't work with everyone. We get about 150 calls like this every day. So knowing what people were looking for, 100% committed in their goals, 100% committed in working with us to achieve those, and knowing that we can achieve these results. So those are the people we look for. So knowing that, why do you think you'd be a good fit to work with us? See, that cold emerald shit works awesome in the close part, so that can give that person, once again, to utilize their skills. Where if you have like a sapphire, that sapphire might be an awesome setter. Hey man, how you doing? Yeah, this is so cool, man. I'm so glad you called. We really got an awesome program here. We're looking for some great people like yourself. Man, so tell me more about yourself, man. You married, kids, stuff like that, single, stalking, what you doing? So everybody has their skills that they're capable of doing, and you can utilize those skills if maybe they're not as competent in other pieces. Okay, the closing rate goes up a lot because the closer actually only gets on the phone with people who are ready to go. If that setter is setting good appointments, that means you're getting on a call with people who are financially qualified and mentally qualified. What I mean by mentally qualified, that person has to not be going, well, I'm just kind of looking around. No, that person needs to be like, I need to do something within the next, week or two. I'm ready to go right now. I need to do something. I need to make a change in my life. If that is not in the person's mentality, it's going to be, they're not going to close. If they're just saying, yeah, I just saw the program, I clicked on the link and just wanted to see what it was about. Okay, I'll send you some more information. And if you have any more questions about that, you can reply to the support. But if you're actually interested in getting going in the program, there'll also be a link. You can book another call once you have all the information you need. Sound good? Ta-ta. Waste of time talking to those people. And we waste our time doing that all the time, dealing with what depends on how your influencer sets their appointments. So finally, in the pro, you have a lot of appointments. That means that closer, the setter can go through a lot of prospects. So they can filter through a lot of people before it gets to the closer. So that means they could set a lot of great quality appointments. And that's what you want. You want great quality leads for your closer to talk to. You don't want prospects. You want leads. See, a prospect, once again, becomes a lead when they are qualified mentally and financially to take whatever program you have. So when you're doing the setter closer process, your appointments now might go down, but the quality of those calls are going to go way up. And the closing rate is going to go way up. So sometimes in companies, the setter is paid like a hourly rate, and then they're also paid a part of a commission. So it just depends on how you set it up. In our group right now, we're doing 50-50, which is awesome for the setter, because the setter can set like 50 fucking appointments and try to qualify people and don't have to go through the whole closing part. See, the close is a harder skill. To actually learn to close the deal. Some people, and when you find folks that say, I really don't want to be salesy and this, those people are going to have a hard time closing deals, because closing deals is sale. The whole thing is a sale actually, but you really have, that's when those skills come into play, from that part where you're getting that commitment and urgency to the money. That's the close. All the other shit beforehand, building rapport, finding the pain, yeah, all that shit is cool. But when the person, you get out of the pain and all that stuff and you say, well, it's going to be $2,500, they go, ooh, wow, I didn't think it was going to be that much. This is when your skills come into play. Or when you say, how soon would you want to do this? Right now, or could you put it off 5 or 6 months? And they go, well, probably could, I don't know if I want to do it right now. Once again, this is where closing skills come into play. Man, I don't think that, doesn't sound like you're really, really wanting to do this, and this, what haven't I covered for you? What other information do you need to know in order for us to move forward? Because it sounds like you want to get those things, but you're not really ready to move. So what's going on? That's when your closing skills comes in. So that separation of the skills that you have or don't have allow you to be more effective in your team, because you can find people who are just straight closers, and you'll know those folks. Those folks are talking motherfuckers most times. They'll be able to come on and be like, hey man, da 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 da, and though people say, oh, that's the big green monster. No, that's fucking sales. That's how it goes. But the difference of where the close comes in is when you take your ability to communicate effectively and quickly with the putting of the needs of the person, of the lead, and the sources and the abilities of your product or service. When you can do that and still be able to talk effectively, that's a closer. So you're meeting the needs of the people with your product or service, with the ability to communicate on a fast method, and with the verbal agility, I call it, the agility to answer questions and concerns and close the deal. So that separation of skills can help you. Problems with the closer setter, the setter closer method, it lengthens the process. So what I mean by lengthening, it's not about the time, it's about the context of the call. Like if you have to do a call, then set up another call, anything can happen in between that time. I don't like to get off the phone with a person unless I know they're closing or they're done. So when you do that, you lengthen the process. So in between that time, you still have to re-engage that person somehow. So if your system doesn't have a way to re-engage that person and keep it fresh in their mind, like some type of email or something that they're going to get in between, some videos they can watch, it can mess up the close. Also, commission splitting becomes a problem when you're doing the setter close method. If you're a setter and you come into a job and you're getting, $4 an hour plus a 10% or 5% commission, and the closer's getting 20%, you're like, hey man, people get upset about it sometimes. But once again, this is your skills. If you want to get more money, learn some more fucking skills. It's just that simple. So that's some of the things that go on. Also, the learning. If you come into a program as a setter, how do you become a closer at that point? And that's an issue, like in our group right now, they were trying to push the complete setter closer method in with one of the influencers I'm working with. But at the same time, first thing I asked them was, okay, well, who's going to be the setters? How do you choose who's going to be the setter? And so how you choose who's going to be the setters will affect the people who are not going to be setters and the people who are. Because if you say, well, you're going to be a setter now and you came in as a closer, then it's like, well, why the fuck am I a setter? And how do I become a closer again if I never get the chance to close? And then the closers, if they suck, do they go down and become a setter now? So that could cause issues in your environment that you're working at if there's not a real smooth setup for that. Like people should be hired specifically to set, or they should know that this is a possibility, that this is going to happen, because that way it makes it clear for them to say, hey, look, man, right now, like for us, we have an evaluation method. So if you're below a certain number, if for some reason I had to put you on some project and put you I would tell you, hey, you're going to be a setter. Okay, so you're just gonna take these appointments, go through this information, set the call for the closer, and this is how the commission is gonna work. So that person at least knows, or they come in with the idea of this is what they're gonna be doing. But once again, how do you go from being a setter to a closer? You got to learn some different skills. All right, so setter and closer duties. Pretty self-explanatory. The setter will do the engagement, education, and qualifying. So once again, that's the rapport, benefits, and information about the program, and qualify them mentally and financially. Some of and that really deals with your questioning process. Like, one of the good ways to do the setter closer process is actually, I don't know, anybody familiar with the straight line system, Jordan Belfort straight line system? Well, if you are, the Jordan Belfort straight line system is a great way to basically qualify the person first, which is do that setter portion first, and then the second part of the actual closing script of Jordan Belfort is the actual information and benefits. But you don't go into the education and the benefits and information until you find out if the person is qualified. Because if the person is not, there's no point in going through all that stuff. So you qualify the person first, then you go into information about the program. And he also continues all the way down to the close, but that's just an easy way for me to visualize it, because you ask questions in that script, his type of script. Let me see if I can find, I think I brought it. Did I bring it with me? Yeah, I did. Okay, so you ask questions. Let me see, where's one? Okay, here it is. Okay, so this is my Jordan Belfort straight line script with one of my current influencers. So first question would be, how long have you been looking at Amazon as a business? Have you ever sold on Amazon before? Quick summary for me. How much do you know about Amazon, how it works? Before this call, what was your plan for selling on Amazon? From what you saw of our program and the features, what's the most important to you? Next thing, okay, where would you want to grow this business in the next 12 months? Hold on one second. Let me tell Cedric something. Contact Khalil. He has the link. So then I would say, well, where do you want to grow this business in the next 12 months? That's mentally. You have wife, husband, kids. Now you're going into why. What are you doing for a living? How's that going for you? How much is that paying for you right now, if you don't mind me asking? Are you looking to supplement your income or eventually replace it? And some other stuff, just for suitability purposes. How would you say your current financial situation is now? Good shape or struggling? How much have you set aside to start your business? Just a ballpark figure. Are you liquid for that amount, or is that including credit or credit cards? Why Amazon? Why now? What has changed? My regular basic question in there. Why do you think you would be a good fit to work with us? If I can map out a crystal clear plan on how we can help you do this, is this something that is there any reason why you wouldn't take action toward these goals today? So that is all the questions before I tell you about the program and give you some details. But once again, that person has already watched the webinar detailing the program. So they already know the program. So really at this point, you're just seeing if they're really ready to proceed. And then from there, you would go into, giving some details, a little bit more details about the program, the people, and yourself. And then you ask for the close, the money. Like I said here, it could be the timing could be the same day, next day, same call, or separate calls. It just depends on how you set it up. But once again, the power of it is because of the ability to split the duties and give value and build up the person who's going to be closing. Because see, if I tell that person on the phone, okay, so I'm going to submit your information, and I'm going to submit your information to Tom. Tom is awesome. He's been doing this for a long time. We've already helped, to make, this type of money for these people. We've already helped this type of people. And Tom is really excellent in making sure that he's gets the program, the right program for the right people to accomplish all their goals. So you're in really great hands to work with him, to have that 30-minute call with him. Because normally, Tom and some of the other great coaches we have can charge upwards to like $5,000 an hour. So, so I'm going to set that appointment up with you and Tom. And from there, I hope to have you in the business in our program. And I'll hopefully be talking to you in a few weeks to talk to you about your success and how you're doing in the program. Okay. Boom. So now you've set Tom up on a super pedestal. And now when that person gets on the phone, he's like, wow, I get to talk to Tom. And now Tom can come in with that authority. Hey, John, great talking to you. I'm looking over your information right here. Wow, it seems like you got some awesome goals and things you're trying to do. And from just looking at you on paper right now, you seem like you'd be a really good fit to work with us. But, everybody really kind of looks good on paper. So just for me, just so I make sure I get my head around things, we're looking for people that are doing this, and this, just for my information, why do you think that would work for you? Why do you think we should allow you into the program? And you could start off the conversation like that, because all that rapport shit is already done. Right here, you're saying, hey, why should I work with you? Are you ready to get going? How are you planning on paying for this? Is this cash? Is this Visa, MasterCard, or American Express? That's how the close goes. The close is very quick because the person is already qualified. So at this point, now you just got to make sure. So you're trying to do all these goals, this. Okay, those are great. Why do you think this program would work for you to accomplish that? You basically let them sell themselves to you at that point. Okay, so yeah, everybody wants money. Why is money important to you? Most people want money to change stuff, change their hair, change their cars. Some people change their spouses. What is it you're trying to change right now? What are you trying to do? They tell you, okay, so do you see yourself accomplishing that with us? Because we can do it, but we can give you a system. We can give you great coaching, mentoring by, people who've already done it. What we can't do is give you the desire and the commitment to accomplish your goals. So would you say you have that on your own, or because we don't want to be holding your hand all the way through this, and so this is the power that you have coming into it as just the closer. And so that's one of the strengths of it. Okay. Move thingy. Okay, there we go. Okay, so once again, like I told you, this wasn't going to be like a huge, you just heard from the world first thing. Some of the things you can do as a setter, the setter can be super, super friendly, informative, but once again, naive. So even in your regular basic closing, you can still practice these type of skills. Really when you're in your rapport, be really friendly. You don't have to be an asshole in the rapport, like going, oh, that's nice. Be friendly. Talk to the person in rapport, build a nice connection, be informative, answer questions when asked, don't give, don't steal the closer's thunder, but at the same time, you can give like kind of an overview of how things are going to work. We got to just use an ACC. We got a 7-week program that's awesome. It takes you from steps A through Z all the way to building this skill up, shows you how to use it, how to find people to work for. It's really awesome. Been helping people. We've helped this many people to do this. You can give them statistics. You can give them case studies. You can give them your personal experience. And then once again, in that sense, you still go and qualify them. You need to know where their head is and if they're financially capable of doing some things. Because if a person sits up there and tells you, yeah, I got fired about 2 months ago and I got to do something, I don't know, I'm down to my last, $1,000 in the bank right now. That person might not be, even though you want to help the person, they can't do it right now. You just want to make sure, hey man, I hear that you're down to your last 1,000 in the bank. Is this something that you'd be looking really to do? Because as you know, there's gonna be some type of investment. I don't know what Tom's gonna say, but there's gonna be some type of investment to actually get this business going for you. So are you in a financial position right now to actually do that? And really find out if the person's not I mean, don't take the person's last thousand. That'd be a dick move. But at the same time, you want to make sure that the person can do what you need to do financially. Some stuff as the closer, be super authoritative. That's the best. Authoritative. Come in with the, now you not say you want to be a dick, but you want to come in that now you're the gatekeeper to allow them into your program. They have to justify to you why they could be a good fit. And once again, it doesn't matter about money at that point, because you're not taking them because of their money. You're taking them because of the results that they're going to get based on utilizing the information that and system that you give them. And right now, I only want people that are going to be a success story. I don't really want just anybody in the program. It's not about money for us. That's your attitude. That's how it has to be. I'm not just taking you on just to take your money. I want to make a success story so I can put you in a video and make us make more money later on. So I don't need your money. I want your success. I want you to win. If you don't want to win, this is not a good program for you. If you're not coming in here to do everything you can to succeed, this is not a good program for you. I don't care if you got $100,000, qualifying, but caring at the same time. So once again, that's the dick, but you're still caring. That means, once again, I want you to succeed, but I don't want you to come in here if you don't want to succeed. But if you do, if you're ready to succeed, I'm going to give you everything you need to do it. I'm going to help you as much as possible. I'm going to be available to you 24/7. But I can't make you succeed. I can't give you that desire. So if you don't have the desire, it'd be a waste of your money and really a waste of time for us. So why should we accept you? How can you tell me that you're willing to do the things that's necessary? And once you come in with that attitude, you'll see people fucking change. They'll be like, well, I've never done anything that I did finish. And I'm a person who does this and this and this. They'll tell you why they want them to come into the program. At that point, once again, you'll still have to close most times when you get to the money part. But if you present it the right way, it could be better. Like you could come in and say, typically, Tom, for people who want to make the kind of money that you want, there's usually 3 different options that we usually see. People can go buy a franchise, $100,000 to a couple of $1 million to get a McDonald's or some smaller franchise. And you can get that franchise, have to deal with the, franchisees and employees and dealing with inventories and stuff like that. And you probably make a couple of maybe $100,000 over the next few years doing that, maybe $25,000, $35,000 a year. You can do that if that's something that you have the availability to do. $100,000 to put into that type of investment, go for it. Or you can do a multi-level marketing. Multi-level marketing allows you to multiply the income of other people to put into your pocket, which means you have to go out and go find people to duplicate yourself and have them to buy inventory from you. But you'll spend a lot of your time traveling and trying to build those your downline basically, and build them. So that's also a great way to make money. I mean, if that's what you like, if you're comfortable running around talking to people and going to build their businesses. So that's a great way also to make money. We're going to reset this in about 5 minutes. Or you can actually learn a skill. And once you've learned a skill, invest in yourself to learn a skill. That skill you can't lose that. You can't get that taken away from you. You have total control in order to use that skill everywhere and anywhere you would like. And that skill can make you the same amount of money or more for a minimal investment into yourself and something that will last with you forever. So that's what we're offering in this program. For sure, Mr. Locke can offer this for $20,000, $30,000 for 6-7 week training. He's already training and consulting for people for almost $10,000 for an hour. And he could charge that to you, but we don't do that. It's not about the money. This is about changing lives. So in order to help people to change their lives, he reduces the prices and gives you just as much value. How does that sound? Then they'll say, oh, about the money. Like I said, you could do a lot of shit. So I'm just giving you some things that I've done, things that work in my direction. But you can still be authoritative, but caring. So that's the point of that whole thingy right there. So in order to do this, what you'd have to do is look at your script that you have with whatever client that you're doing. You do a script overhaul, basically. You have to really identify your ideal client, because in your qualifying, you need to know who you're looking for and what those people, what they look like and what they sound like on the phone, what type of finances they have, what type of commitment they have, because you need to be able to identify that person really quick based off the questions that deals with your script. So you have to ask the questions, the right questions, to get the information to identify that ideal client. You have to compile websites, emails, testimonials, all that stuff to be able to give people information and make sure people are very informed before they come to the closer call. So that way, before they get on that closer call, they should have been bombarded with a lot of information to further give them proof about the company, results, and all this other type of stuff. You have to know the benefits of the service or the course intimately, to where you can identify the best pieces, because those are pieces that you're going to want to make sure the closer is able to give, not the setter. The setter can give you a general overview and kind of outline, but the closer wants to be able to have the boom, the real power hitters. Okay. And then, of course, you need to be able to handle objections really good, because that's the closer's job, really, to take those objections and turn them into cash money. I put this at every one of my meetings here. Anytime I do something, only ask you two things. Make sure you share it. And if you want to do a recommendation on LinkedIn for me, that'd be awesome. So what questions do you guys have now, as far as everything? Because now it's question time.
All right. Yes.
Yep, I hear. Yep.
Give me a second, man.
One.
Okay, now it's better. Perfect. So yeah, John, thanks a lot. First of all, it's quite amazing. I mean, so much value. Thank you very much. And my question for you is like, usually, how long is your setter call in time, in average, and how long is the closing call?
Usually, your set call can usually probably be 15 minutes or less, because it's really basically, if you take your regular closing call, it's your initial questions, your agenda, and it's going to be kind of a find out part. So basically, it's like an extended agenda part, and not so much in a little bit of pain, but not really deep. Mm-hmm. What you're trying to do is figure out what's their motivation for doing this, but not, once again, go super, super deep for it, because you want to get them to where you know why they're doing this, and they have a reason why. Okay. And so what you want to be able to do is type that up and give that to the closer and say, this person is doing this because they want to do this. So basically, you would be like, if you want to put it in HTC terms, like level 2 pain. Mm-hmm. So level 2 pain, that way now you can give that to the closer so they can continue. So right now, just to make sure, John told me that you're looking to do this because of this. Is that correct? Yeah, I'm doing this. Okay, well, why is that important to you? I mean, what do we? And now you can continue going down, and so you give that ammunition to the closer. So you usually take a lot of notes and give that information to the closer to finish the deal.
Okay, got it. On the closing call, I guess we talked about it before. Max 25 minutes for you, 30 minutes?
Same thing. Yeah, it'll be the same thing, because like I said, since you don't have to do the pain too deep, you're already there. It should take you 2-3 questions. You're in the pain good enough, building up the nightmare, the dream, urgency. And at that point, now your closing part, because the closing part is usually the longest part. For me, if I have a time, it's the closing part. So I'd say no more than about 30 minutes or so on the close part. Okay. So, and then you could just go right back in and finish up the deal. So,
okay, and thank you very much. And if you're going to talk about money in the qualifying part, do you give an exactly specific number? Like exactly how much can you invest in this moment? Like $2,500 or something?
Is you talking about in the setter, or are you talking about in the closer part?
The setter part.
In the setter part, at that point, I would ask them something like this. I'm just going to use the example of my influencer. this is the thing we say. We say your capital situation is very important to your success and the growth of your business, because if you find a really awesome product and you're not able to actually restock and invest into that product, it'll really slow down the growth of your company. So from a financial standpoint, right now, what do you have available to invest into your business for products, marketing, things like that? Are you anywhere from 3,000 to 8,000, 8,000, 15 plus? Where would you be right now? Just a ballpark.
Okay. Okay, I got you. Okay. And if you are in the closing part in the second call, and for example, your influencer just have one package, and the package is just about 5K, does the closer actually have to qualify the prospect again about the money, or is it already all right? Okay, the prospect has the money. I do not have it. I don't have to do it anymore.
Okay, we'll answer that one in a second. We're going to